Hello everyone, how are you feeling today? It's Everyone here, and today I'm coming at you with my Shaddoll Trains deck profile. Now this is a very fun deck profile. Use the Shaddolls as an additional means to support you going second, because this is the going second build to deal with a particular to do the OTK. Of course, you can change card choices of my hand traps and stuff like that, depending on your locals. Very fun deck all around. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. There are some new cards here that are a little bit of high price, but that's probably because of Infinity Track, or whatever they're called, the new the new card from Infinity Chasers, the new Earth Machines ones. They're probably using some of the cards in here, and because of that, they're a little bit high price. But for the time being, this is the deck profile from Trains, and I think Trains are a lot better than them, just saying. So starting things off, we start off with 3 copies of Night Express Knight, very important card in your deck. You want to run 3 of it. When you normal summon him, you can normal summon him without tributing, and its attack becomes 0. It cannot be special summoned from the deck, so no special summoning with urgent schedule. But it's still a very important card to open up with, so you want to run 3 of him. Not as much as important as it used to be back in the day, which is kind of a nice relief, but still you want to run 3. Then 3 copies of Derek Rain. It's a free special summon from the hand when you special summon or normal summon an Earth Machine, which is fantastic. And then when you detach this card, you pretty much can target one card your opponent control and destroy it. So that's actually really cool. You can detach it from an Xyz monster and then pop a card on the field, which is really nice. And that's really cool. And then the last level 10 for the trains and the new so-called train, we run 3 copies of Bullet Train. Bullet Train is a very excellent additional support. When you control only Earth Machines, you get to special summon it from the hand. And then during the end phase, if it's in the graveyard, you get to add 1 Earth Machine from your graveyard, except himself, of course, itself. And that's really cool for recyclability, of course, in particular decks. Of course, if you're trying to also make this deck going first and able to go first, this is really cool to recycle your stuff. And just generally, if you don't find yourself able to OTK your opponent and you're more going into a grind game and stuff like that, being able to recycle stuff is always nice. So Bullet Train, even with the special summoning effect, would have been perfect. But the fact that it also have an effect on top of it, making it quite awesome. There's another effect that make you only able to attack with it when you discard 2 cards, but you're mostly not going to use this effect anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that's it for the level 10s. Now we'll move on to the level 4s. So first off, we'll run the 3 of the new one, Pegasus. Pegasus is excellent new card. It's giving you the ability when it's normal special summon to target an Earth Machine in the grave, special summon in defense position, and its effect are negated. So that's nice. And then you can make this the same level as the monster that you summoned from the graveyard, which you can use your level 10s or your Roughly and Relcar if you want to go rank 4 or whatever that is. It's just really nice to help you revive and then go either to a Link or a rank 4. Overall, an excellent card. And then, speaking of Roughly and Relcar, we only run the 1, because Roughly and Relcar is now outshined by Pegasus, and Roughly and Relcar specifically, you only need the 1 to search cards during the end phase if you need to. As well, just in general, compared to Pegasus, she doesn't really do anything. Like, this particular train doesn't do anything. So, and of course, forgot to say that Pegasus can only summon things that are not itself, so that's another thing. And this one is nice, but like you only need it for the name and just in general because you want to search a card in the end phase. So that's all you need specifically. And now we'll move on to the Shaddoll themselves. You run 1 beast for the additional draw power, 1 dragon for the pop of Spell and Trap, 1 Squamata to help you thin up your deck if you want to, and 1 Hedgehog because Hedgehog is really nice, because you can bait with it on Ash Blossom. Now, Squamata is also here because sometimes you need the additional name because you open up with 1 of these, and just specifically you also know the additional name because sometimes 3 are not enough. So this is the lineup of Shadolls that I run. 4 Shadolls, I think there are more than enough for your deck, and that pretty much does it for the monsters that are not some kind of hand trap. So we also run 2 copies of Gamma Seal for our Kaiju of the deck. It can be Ash Blossom, can be any other hand trap. if you feel like it. I just like the Gamma Seals because I'm going second anyway, and being able to just kaiju, a very, very important monster my opponent has, is really, really important. Now, of course, you can also go with Jizukiru and a big Interrupted Kaiju Slumber package, but I would recommend to do that if you're not running a Shaddoll engine, because I don't have specifically the space for an Interrupted Kaiju Slumber package, and just specifically, I like this lineup quite, like the two Kaijus, Gamma Seals quite a bit, and there are more than enough. And then the hand trap that I run are 2 copies of Effect Veiler, because Effect Veiler is an excellent hand trap, and in my opinion, right now in this format, is a little bit better than Ash, because you want to deal off with monster effects, not with searching effects. Because there are a lot of good monster effects. You want to deal with the monster effects, not deal off with the special summon, draw, and add 2 hand effects, in my opinion. And it's also not a harder once per turn, so that's also a big upside to it compared to Ash. So that does it for the main deck monsters. Now we'll move on to the spells. First off, 3 copies of Revolving Switchyard and 2 copies of Terraforming, your field spell, very important field spell. It's not as important, again, like Ignite, Express Night as it used to be, but it's still very important. It's nice to open up with, but it's like not crucial. This have 2 particular effects. I'm mostly using the second effect today, especially going second, which is discard a card, send a card from your hand to the graveyard, and then search a level 10 Earth Machine from my deck to my hand. And that's really, really cool, because the first effect is nice, but the first effect is kind of problematic going second, because if you normal summon or special summon an Earth Machine level 10, you get to activate an effect that make you not able to do any battle damage to your opponent this turn. So that's a little bit of a bummer. And then the effect lets you to special summon a level 4 or level 4 Earth Machine with 1800 or more attack, and then it become a level 10, so that's actually kind of nice with roughly an Relicar or Pegasus and all that stuff if you want to combo off going first. But going second, you mostly want to use the second effect because it doesn't restrict you. So Revolving Switchyard is only amazing when you're going second for the second effect. For the first effect, it's only good when you're going first, so that's also kind of a thing just to let you guys know. And then for our starting cards of the deck, going second, of course, 3 copies of Urgent Schedule. This card is awesome. Can be used specifically even during your opponent's turn if your opponent have way too much of a big of a board compared to yours against that. And you can also use this going first, so that's nice. But this card is mostly, in this deck, is going second, so you use that to special summon 2 monsters from the deck. Really cool. And then if your opponent going to control an extra deck monster, which is, I think, almost all the time going to happen, you want to use Shaddoll Fusion, because Shaddoll Fusion let you special summon using monster from your deck, which is really, really cool and giving you an additional option. And then you can also, I think, use this even in the middle of the combo. You don't have, just to let you guys read this, just to read this specifically, because if your opponent control a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can also use monster from your deck as a fusion material. A lot of people forget and say, like, only if I control, only if I not control an extra deck monster, but you can use it all the time. So that's actually kind of cool if you want to use a construct not in the extra monster zone and use it in the main monster zone specifically before you go to Link. So for some people who forget that, you can use it all the turn, as long as your opponent have an extra deck monster. So that's really, really cool. And that's it for that. And then 3 copies of Cold by the Grave, because Cold by the Grave is dealing with annoying hand traps. Really, really cool. 1 Monster Reborn for Monster Reborn, and 1 Foolish Barrel if I want to send a particular Shaddoll from my deck to grave, and or one of my trains for, for Pegasus. And that's it for the spells. And for the traps, I run 3 copies of Red Reboot, just want to deal with particular traps, and like Salaman grade traps, like when they activate their roar, just Red Reboot it and be done with all of their traps. And most of the time I'm going to OTK my opponent, so it actually doesn't really matter. It's like, not most of the time, almost all the time I'm going to OTK my opponent, because attack doesn't really matter today. And there is a specific extra deck monster that I have can boost my monster's attacks. So I'm going to OTK my opponent all the time if I'm dealing with their traps. And this can be any other trap that you wish, or Hand Trap or whatever. I just specifically like Red Reboot, specifically to deal with Salaman Greats and trap decks, because I see a lot of control trap decks in my local, so I like to deal with those. And that pretty much does it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck, 2 copies of Shakinaga. I don't think I need to explain, self-explanatory in Trained Shaddoll. And then 1 copy of Window, which can be Construct or whatever you want. It can even be like cut down. I just like the additional Window for an additional, you know, if I want to lock my opponent and I'm going first or something, or just specifically I know that I'm not able to OTK them, or something happened in the middle of the combo and just they ruined my combo and I need to still stop them. So that's it for the fusions. Xyz, 2 copies of Juggernaut. I don't think I need to explain why this card is excellent. You detach a material, become 6,000, and it's permanent. As well, it can attack up to the same number of Xyz materials it has, +1, so it can attack with my extra deck monsters from 2 to 4 attacks, which is awesome and can only unfortunately happen on monsters, but it's still very, very powerful. The one that you use for the 3 materials is Super Dora, of course depending on the situation, but Super Dora is excellent because Super Dora is like 3 attacks. I might actually say that I want to cut this 1 by 1 because I run only 1 Gustav Max, but it's dependent on the situation. And then the last one, which I'm using for the 4 attacks, is the new, is not new, it's the big 5,000 attack Earth Machine rank 10 Robo guy that can destroy all spells and traps. Your opponent control and cannot activate effect against them. But I specifically don't have him. But I would maybe recommend to run him, because if your opponent have 4 monsters and you're able to deal with their stuff and you know that you're able to kill them with this, I would recommend to run it at 1 because it's actually awesome. And then the last rank 10 I run is 1 Rhinovis Tarantula. Rhinovis Tarantula is awesome because he can, because Red Reboot and Gustav Max, and if you're able to bring those 2 together to the field, it's probably guaranteed OTK, because this guy give all of your monster attack and defense equal to the difference between your life points and your opponent's life points. It doesn't have to be higher or lower than your opponent's life points, just the difference. And then also, he lets you to detach a material and destroy all face-up monsters your opponent control with attack less and or equal to this card. Now, if you use Red Reboot, this make all of your monsters strong by 4,000. If you use Gustav Max effect, is still strong by 2,000, and you burn your opponent for 2,000. So making your Juggernaut 8,000 attack or 10,000 attack is insane. So that's why I like to also run 1 Rhinovis Tarantula even if I'm not able to use and attack him. It's just really, really awesome. And that does it for the Xyz. And now for the Link. 1 Borreload, which I'm considering changing into a Unicorn, but we also run 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus for additional problems, and then 1 Genius and 1 Radiant because those 2 are obvious. And that's pretty much does it for my Train Shaddoll deck profile, which I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe as usual. This deck is really, really fun, and I have a lot of cool decks that coming right up. As usual, if you want to let me know your thoughts and ways that you will improve the deck, let me know in the section down below. As well, just in general, play with this around. If you have the cards, they're really, really cool, they're really, really fun, and just a really overall explosive deck for locals. So, see you guys next time. Remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, guys. Stay safe, and I cannot wait for next week to start showing you guys new deck profiles that I actually been working on for a very, very long time. So see you guys next video. Bye-bye.